Bryce Pappenbrook, and you're listening to 3 a.m. Thoughts. We're going to SPANKY'S!
What's up, y'all? This is your boy Asiago back at you again on 3 a.m. Thoughts. Alrighty, so let's get down to it. Okay, so where do I even begin? That intro, yeah, that intro with Mr. Pappenbrook, the English VA for Inosuke from Demon Slayer, as you may already know. But yeah, trust me, I had to wait quite a while online for that one. No, because at that anime convention, so originally what I wanted to do was I wanted to get Chris Sabat, the voice of Zoro, Captain Yami, Vegeta, you know, I wanted to get him to say, "We're going to SPANKY'S" or something like that, you know. I wanted him to say, I really wanted him to pay him to say something like really funny and dumb, you know, so some like a little inside joke, you know, from my circle of friends. But the problem was that he wasn't doing voice samples. Actually, his agent told me that he was he was doing what do you call it? I forgot. I think the website is called Cameo or something like that. Yeah, I may or may not put a link. It depends. I may or may not put a link in the description below if I even remember to do so. But anyways, it's a website where you can pay celebrities and other kinds of famous people to to say stuff for you. You know, and send a video of their audio. Well, not a video of their audio. A video of them, saying it, and you can use that audio for whatever you want. Actually, I had this idea of like literally paying hundreds, and I do mean hundreds of dollars for freaking Gilbert Gottfried to say a whole bunch of stuff, and like to where like if they're mainly responses and I'm asking the questions. I thought I'd do something like that. It's really tempting. I mean, come on, it's Gilbert Gottfried. We have no idea how long he's gonna be around. If I can at least make him say, "Hey, welcome to 3 a.m. Thoughts" or something like that, that would be funny. But anyways, but we're not here to talk about Mr. Gottfried. No, we're here to talk about that intro, amongst other things. But yeah, so originally I wanted Chris Sabat to go ahead and do that, but his agent said he wasn't doing that. So I went to the next guy right next to him. Okay, so I saw this dude's catalog. I mean, I already knew most of his catalog, but, from watching a lot of dubbed anime. I mean, you love me or hate me for this spot. I prefer watching my stuff in English. So yeah, I'm gonna recognize a lot of the Funimation actors. Like seriously, so like watching a lot of dubbed anime, like I can clearly hear him as Caesar from JoJo, Kirito from Sword Art Online, Inosuke from Demon Slayer, Eren from Attack on Titan. This dude, this dude has he plays a lot of characters, and a lot of the animes that I've watched, like he has that kind of recognizable voice. So, and I thought, okay, so I've watched all these animes. I've heard him scream before, so I thought, okay, yeah, if there's anybody else who would actually do an audio for me, yeah, it would have to be this guy, So I stood in line for a good long while, not nearly as long as I did for Chris Sabat, because let me tell you, when you walked into that convention center, Chris Sabat always had the longest freaking line. I felt like I stood in line for about, I think it was maybe nearly 2 hours just to go up to him and just to talk to the guy. I got a selfie with him. I also got a I got his autograph and all that. It was really cool. He was a cool guy to talk with. But I think I addressed this in the other podcast. But anyways, yeah, I stood in line for a long time. I still for this other dude, this other voice actor. I stood in line for quite a while as well. Not nearly as long. I felt like maybe it was a good 45-minute wait, but still, it was definitely worth it because I walk up to this dude, I'm like, "Hey, what's up? I have a podcast and I like you as Inosuke, so I'm over here thinking, so will you go ahead and just introduce my channel? Introduce what the people are watching or we're listening to, and can you do the voice?" Yeah, so it was like, okay, what do you want me to say? I'm like, well, you see, it's gonna sound weird, but it's gonna sound bad even. But believe me, it's not anything bad. So, so I told him. So I know this guy named so I have this friend who has an uncle named Larry. And we have this inside joke of how he goes, "We're going to Spanky's," and I told him, so do you think you can say that in your Inosuke voice? And he was like, wait, going to what? And I'm like, yeah, going to Spanky's. And he was like, what is that? I hope that's not nothing bad. I'm like, nah, it's not. And I told him, and I told him, like, yeah, there's actually one down the street. Spanky's. It's a pizza place. And the guy, and his agent came over because he had no idea what was going on until he got the context. He was like, oh yeah, Spanky's, yeah, it's down the street. We should go there sometime. We should go there later on. And I was like, okay, cool. I think I introduced this guy to Spanky's. But anyways, yeah, like, man, like, it was just a funny interaction. But then he finally recorded the video. So he finally recorded the video, and everybody everybody was around to hear it from from his line and from the next line over for Chris Abbott. When they heard him say, "We're going to Spanky's," when they heard that, oh man, everyone got all these weird looks. A lot of people were chuckling, but man, like it was freaking worth it. Oh man. Oh, believe me, I'm going to make that, like, it's already like a regular inside joke between our circle of friends, but let me tell you, man, I'm gonna definitely bring that back a lot more in the actual, like, podcast. I mean, there's plenty of inside jokes that I brought into the podcast, like, there isn't too many that I can state right now, other than maybe Uncle Larry, or the whole gag in the bag thing, or Jack in the Box / PlayStation guy. There's a whole bunch of inside jokes and stuff that I brought over from like our little group into the podcast and try to incorporate into everything. But anyways, shoot. So actually, speaking of Spanky's, let me tell you about my first experience going over the Spanky's. So the reason why we're going to Spanky's is because my boy Leslie, he was having his I forgot. I think it might have been his like 19th or 20th birthday. Yeah. I think it had to have been his it was his 19th and 18th. I don't know. Either way, he was already an adult, and it was like I think it was 19. But anyways, yeah, my OCD was kicking in, so I had to try to calculate it. But anyways, so he was having his birthday party over there at Spanky's, right? So we were just getting everything ready, and this dude, he actually kind of forgot where we're on the day of, like, we were gonna celebrate his birthday. He kind of forgot where he was gonna have his party, and so he was asking around everybody, and even I forgot. Everybody forgot. We all forgot, like, okay, yeah, well, first of all, nobody really told us, but second of all, even if you did, like, it was probably mid-conversation, so none of us probably would have remembered. But anyways, yeah, so we walk up to Uncle Larry, like the real Uncle Larry, not my character, like the real Uncle Larry. And so we walked up to him, and so we were like, hey, where's his birthday party at? I need to know so I can get my GPS ready if I need to. And so he screams out loud so everybody in the house can hear. He was like, "We're going to Spanky's!" he like, it's so loud the neighbors' dogs are barking, man. It was just a crap show. And like freaking everybody in the house was like, "Why you gotta yell that for?" It was hilarious. It was kind of a wild sight to see. But anyways, so later on that day, so we actually do go to Spanky's, and let me tell you, things start getting strange. So first of all, Uncle Larry brings his dog. Now, this isn't Jezebel he's bringing. No, he told her to stay home, and guard the house, guard the pet turtle that lives, in the living room, because we never know what that turtle's gonna be up to. I mean, he may be slow, but he's always up to something, and he's always up to his little schemes and stuff like that. The problem is he never fulfills his schemes because, again, being a turtle, he's very slow. And as well is if he flips upside down, even accidentally, he can't get back up. He does, and what makes it worse, he don't have arms. He's got those little fin-like things, but he doesn't really have arms. So even if you put on a life alert on him, he ain't gonna be able to press that. But anyways, yeah. So aside from Jezebel having to guard the evil, suspicious-looking turtle, so Uncle Larry, the regional Uncle Larry, he brings the other dog with him into the restaurant of all places. I'm like, why? And I'm like, well, yeah, I love this dog, So, like, it's this tiny, like, Chihuahua Terrier kind of mix, Really old dog too. His name is Austin, And then, so his name is Austin. He's like, he's kind of going senile because he forgets where he is most of the time, and like he'll literally like just look at you, piss on the floor while looking at you with his tongue sticking out, and then he will just walk away right afterwards. I'm like, huh? And like, and like I swear, this one time, this dog, man, this fool, man, he literally, I was about to walk out the door because I was gonna go home from after like I think it was like a 13-hour hangout, so I was gonna go home. This dog, like this dog drops in my way, and I do mean drop. Like it's as if he was flying in the air. So like he drops right in front of me, and then not only that, he also drops a couple of turds on the carpet in front of the front door, and I'm like, huh? Wait, what? Are you trying to tell me something? And then he just walks away again, all with his tongue sticking out, and I'm like, what is this dog doing? What is this dog thinking? I mean, part of me is thinking this dog probably really doesn't think. But I know the truth though. Let me tell you, this dog ain't just no ordinary dog. And this is what we're gonna talk about, because I realized that on this first trip to SPANKY'S. So, Uncle Larry for some reason decides, he wanted to bring this old dog, who's always sticking his tongue out, who's gonna use the restroom whenever, wherever he wants, into the freaking restaurant. And I'm like, first of all, Larry, I can't believe that, I can't believe they allowed you to bring the dog in, first of all. But second of all, why, like, just why? You still haven't given us an explanation. Why are you bringing this dog into a restaurant? This dog doesn't even eat dog food. This dog literally eats paper. Like, I'm telling you, this dog, like, I'm like, this one time Leslie called us the come over so we could try to feed his dog, right? And I thought, that's kind of weird, but I mean, I kind of understand too. Some dogs are picky. Some dogs prefer dog chow over pedigree, or some dogs prefer wet food over dry food, or sometimes they just want to eat treats. But either way, those are all consumable products for a dog. But this dog doesn't even eat that. And you would think, okay, have you tried feeding the dog, cat food? Because there's a lot of animals in that house, and one of the animals is a cat. And the cat's pretty sus too. But we don't talk about that cat, at least not just yet. But anyways, we even tried feeding the dog cat food. The dog, kind of licked it, and and then he walked away. And I'm like, okay, obviously he don't like cat food either. So I'm like, okay, so what are we gonna feed this dog? He won't eat treats. He won't eat cat food. He won't eat dog food. He won't eat nothing. Like, absolutely nothing that's like edible for a dog. He will not eat it. And it was kind of a problem too, because again, this dog is going old, he's going senile, and I'm like, did he just forget how to eat? I mean, come on, naturally when you get hungry, you're gonna want to fulfill that need. But anyway, so we tried everything we can. We even tried giving this dog water. You know what this dog does? Goes into the water like a bath, pisses in it, takes a dump in it, and then barfs in it. And I'm like, huh? Well, huh? I was just dumbfounded. And then the dog like walks out and then starts going, like kind of howling, like while walking around the house. I'm like, what is this dog? Is this the dog get into the freaking the dog get into the neighbor's crack again or something like that? I mean, what's going on? Like, did the dog again, did he get into the neighbor's crack, or did he get into the other neighbor's marijuana? Like, what's going on here? This dog is acting real weird, and so, but anyways, after all was said and done, this is like a couple of hours later. So I was walking out of the restroom, right? Because I had to take a dump myself. Except I didn't take a dump in a freaking water bowl. No, I took a dump in the toilet bowl. But anyways, I didn't realize it till after I got out. That there was still a wet piece of toilet paper. I mean, it was wet on the part that was on my shoe, but yeah, this toilet piece, a few squares of toilet paper were stuck to my shoe, and and again, I even didn't realize it when I walked out. It wasn't until I saw Austin, walking past me, I could hear his tiny little feet. They're walking. He has these long claws too, because his claws have never gotten clipped, not once, and all of his freaking 100 years being on this planet, man, he has not clipped his nails. So with the house having hardwood floors, well, you can hear that dog freaking walking from a mile away. Like I tell you, like a mile away, you can hear the claws going. Yeah, and when I heard those claws like hit the ground, and he walked past me, and I'm like, okay, normally this dog at least like stops to look at me, even if he won't let me pet me. Well, yeah, even if he won't let me pet him, but like you'll still at least look at me, acknowledging my existence. So this dog here, man. It's like literally, I turned around, noticed that that the freaking toilet paper that was stuck to my shoe wasn't stuck anymore. It was on the floor, and this dog walks up to the toilet paper and starts eating it, and I'm like, no, Austin, you can't be eating it. But let me tell you, for a very slow dog. For a dog that can't physically move faster than a freaking turtle, he starts devouring that piece of paper. I'm telling you, he starts devouring that piece of paper like it was no tomorrow. Like, oh man. So after he eats the paper, he turns around, and I swear, I don't know if I was just imagining it. I don't know if freaking maybe I might have heard it from the TV behind me. I'm not sure if somebody else was saying it, or I'm not sure of whatever. But I swear, I felt like it was like telepathic. I heard in my mind, "Feed me more paper. Yes, the paper. I crave the paper." And I was like, huh? What? More paper? So then, so I just kind of played it off for for a little while. But then what happens next is that freaking so every time I get out of that restroom, somehow I would always freaking disregard the fact that there's always a freaking piece of toilet paper stuck to my shoe, and I wouldn't notice it until I got out of the restroom and the dog was eating it. It was already too late for me to stop the dog, because the dog already freaking swallowed it before I could even take a look. But I can see it still eating, like having a piece of the paper stick out of his mouth. That's the only way I knew the dog was still freaking eating the paper. But not only that, freaking so sometimes, yeah, so naturally, because we eat a lot of food in my boy Leslie's room, sometimes a napkin or two will fall, and this dog will, like, despite having those long claws and you can hear from a mile away, like he'll go full on stealth mode. This dog will freaking like sneak into the room and start eating the napkins that fall into the floor, and I'm like, Austin, no! And he devours it like if there's no tomorrow. He goes from turtle to rabbit mode, man. This dude is fast. He's consuming all the paper. He's consuming the receipts. He's consuming like any kind of piece of paper he can find. And I'm telling you, this dog, he will not eat dog food. He won't eat milk bones. He won't eat cat food. He won't even eat human food. As a matter of fact, he wouldn't even eat an ice cube. He won't eat anything that's possibly edible, except for paper. And I'm like, huh? Like, what is up with this dog, man? Like, seriously. And to this day, I've never seen that dog eat a single kernel, a single freaking piece of any kind of edible food or dog food or whatever. This dog has exclusively ate paper. And let me tell you this was like nearly 4 years ago. This dog is already old as hell, and this dog is eating nothing but paper. Man, I'm just as confused as you are. But anyways, let's get back to the whole Spanky story. So Uncle Larry, he brings the dog into the restaurant, and they allow it. We get past the whole waiting room. We go into the we go in to get our seats. So we're over here. We're gonna start. They hand out the menus. We're gonna start ordering our food and all that. And let me tell you this. And so Uncle Larry, he's like, all right, can I get a second menu for the dog here? And then for some reason the waitress complies. But then I noticed he was acting kind of robotic. Like as if she was being controlled. Obviously she was being commanded by Larry to provide him a second menu for the dog. First of all, that's just kind of weird. Dogs can't read. They can write, but they can't read. Just remember that, kids. But second of all, Second of all, like obviously, you know, again, Larry's commanding her, but she's acting like a full-on robot, being fully obedient. I'm just sitting here like, huh? Does not anybody else see what's going on here? But anyways, yeah, like, you know, stuff, it just gets a little, it gets weirder after that. Again, this is when this is the day I learned Austin was not your normal average dog. You're not just a weirdo dog. This dude is a, like, I don't know. Like, you determine that after I tell you the story. So anyways, so again, so we're ordering our food here. You know, we got the menus out where everyone's deciding what they want to eat, what they want to drink, what they want to, you know, get. You know, it's that kind of thing going on. And then, even the dog Austin, despite the fact that he's super tiny, gets his own seat. And then, you know, he's even reading the menu. The menu is like standing up, you know, and the dog's just sitting there with his tongue sticking out, just looking into blank nothingness. You know, just kind of looking up and down occasionally, but not really trying to read the, you know, the menu. And I'm over here going, why is this dog here? Why? What's going on? And then, like, out of nowhere, Uncle Larry goes, "Austin, rise." And then, like, literally, so this is when things get even weirder. This dog starts flying. Like, well, actually, well, not exactly flying, but floating in midair, so he can actually read the menu. And not only that, the menu floats as well. You know, and everybody's seen this, but nobody's acting like, nobody's doing anything about it. They're just acting like it's just another day in the, you know, in the restaurant. It's just another walk in the park. You know, nothing weird going on here. I mean, yes, there's an old dog inside a restaurant, and this dog is floating. He's making the menu float, and he's commanding people, you know, to feed him things. And I'm like, yes, the dog is literally commanding people to feed him napkins, and literally everybody is just complying with them. Where everyone's feeding them their napkins, and I'm like, are you not seeing what you're doing? Are you not seeing what's going on? What is going on here? Like, am I the only sane person here? You know, I was going, like, I thought I was going insane. I was going insane because nobody else was going insane. You know, it was kind of one of those things. But anyways, so on top of that, so the dog here is just going, Yeah, I know, it's the Halo theme. But yeah, he was making those sounds on repeat. And again, nobody is bothered by this. Not even the next table with noisy kids, or the other table just trying to have a date. No, nobody is annoyed by this. Nobody is trying to tell the dog to shut up. No one's freaking complaining about the fact that there's a smelly little old dog. No, like, nobody's even, like, addressing the fact that there's still a floating dog with glowing eyes commanding people to feed him paper. And I'm like, what is going on here? You know, so then, so I was like, okay, you know what? Let's break the ice here. Okay, what's the dog doing here? How is the dog doing that? Is nobody else seeing what I'm seeing? You know, again, I had to ask. Nobody else was asking, and it was super obvious right in front of our face. You know, so as soon as I asked that, you know, like one of the waiters, she grabs me, bends me over, grabs the biggest paddle that you can find, and starts spanking me right in my rear, and I'm going, ow! What's going on? Ow! 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 You know, I start sounding like Pumbaa at this point, but yeah, like literally, she starts spanking me, and I'm like, what's going on? And then I hear that voice again. Like, when I hear that voice again, it's and I can tell this time for sure that it's Austin speaking to me telepathically. He's like, "Oh, we are at the holy temple of SPANKY'S. Here, all obey my commands. Everybody feed me thy paper." And I'm like, what? I can't do that. Like, that's not even edible food, you know? It's so freaking, he gets the waitress to spank me even more. And on top of that, the entire, like, kitchen staff, they stop what they're doing. They whip out their spatulas, they whip out paddles, they whip out their spoons, anything with a flat, smooth surface that they can possibly spank me with. You know, they all start trying to chase me down. Or before they start chasing me down, they all line up around the table, and I'm like, what's going on? And then through one of my friends, his eyes is glowing, he's kind of floating, and he's kind of like being, it's like he's being used as a vessel for this dog, and he's saying all kinds of crazy and weird stuff like, Oh, this is the great Norse god Austin, existing over 19,000 years ago. Lost in the Great War of I don't know, like the Great War of like there's all kinds of like Norse mythology kind of stuff going on. I can't remember all the details, but I mean they're kind of rounded up. This dog was just like, again, it was like an ancient Norse god being incarnated into this eternal form, this eternal body of just a little tiny old dog. And this dog has been around since like the beginning of mankind. You know, it's been around since since everything. You know, and this little dog has this immense power. And I think it was some kind of like punishment from the elder gods or something like that. I don't know. There was all kinds of weird stuff people. That he was saying, again, there was all kinds of weird stuff going on, and I'm over here thinking, bruh, I just wanted to eat pizza. Like, I didn't want to freaking be chased down by an ancient god's army of SPANKY'S employees. It's weird. But then what happens even more is that Leslie, he kind of wakes up, from being controlled, and he's like, huh? Why is Austin floating? What's going on here? No, I'm not gonna feed you any more paper. And I was like, oh no, he's gonna spank you. And so like literally Austin commands Uncle Larry to take off his shirt first of all and whip out his belt, and he starts spanking Leslie. And I'm like, what is going on? And freaking Larry, he's kind of like half awake, half being controlled. And he's like, this is fun, hell yeah, I'm gonna spank you, spank. And Leslie was like, ow, this is weird, that's not fun. And Larry was like, hell yeah, I don't know what I'm doing, but it feels fun, it's like I'm drunk. And so like me and this dude, like we try to wake everybody else up. We managed to wake up our other friends, but we couldn't wake up anybody else, not even anybody else in the restaurant. But like by this point the entire restaurant is just being commanded by the dog. Nobody is acting sus. Nobody's trying to point anything out. This dog is literally just trying to like destroy us for not feeding him paper. The sacrificial freaking paper that this freaking Norse god of a dog needs to survive. Again, it's weird as hell, man. It is weird as hell. But like, again, it just gets weird because then what happens is that this huge humongous portal opens up, because we're me and Leslie and the gang, we're trying to escape, SPANKY'S. We're like, okay, we came here for pizza, not for a Norse mythological god war. No, like we didn't come for all this, so we're trying to get out of here. This giant chasm just appears like below the below where the waiting room was, so we couldn't even skip through the front door, and then out of this chasm a portal awakens, and through this portal, man, let me tell you, oh boy, this dog, man, he freaking he opens the portal to the freaking paper aisle at Walmart. So like seeing where the portal leads to, and like so here I know what you're thinking. I could have just jumped in the portal and I could have immediately escaped from there, right? It sounds simple. I mean, it's not like he's opening a portal to hell or anything like that. No, he's just opening a portal to the paper aisle at Walmart, and then he opens another portal in the back, in the back door, opening up a portal to the paper aisle at Food Town, and then in the kitchen a portal to the freaking paper aisle at Walgreens and Target. There's like literally he starts opening portals everywhere to freaking paper, all the paper aisles, paper plates, paper towels, paper whatever, even Office Depot, all the copy paper, the laminated paper, all these kinds of paper. He's just opening all kinds of portals, and it starts smelling like paper, like you just see all these papers floating around, and this dog this out of his chest opens this huge humongous black hole, and it just starts consuming all of it, and again, we couldn't escape through any of these portals because like literally all this stuff was coming out of the way. It's not like we could stop it, and even if we tried, freaking the force would just break our arms. I mean, trust me, one of our good friends broke his arm trying to escape. But those giant packs of bounty, when they hit you, you know. Oh, it's not a fun time. It's not a fun time. But anyways, aside from that, man, like, so even when we got to the freaking, there's this one portal that led to just a regular office building, just where there was a whole bunch of cubicles and stuff. All like the freaking papers that were coming out from that. It doesn't matter if they were the paper machine. It doesn't matter if they were paperwork being passed around by the workers. No, like, and that all started coming out too. And I'm like, that's the Deli's portal right there, because it's right next to the lemonade stand where all their flyers are being taken in. And I'm thinking, that's the death trap right there. Imagine you can get a paper cut, and if any lemonade falls on your cuts, ooh, you're dead. I mean, you are just dead meat, man. But anyways, yeah, it was just, again, it was just all paper and hell, man. Like, we couldn't do anything about it. Like, his hunger for the holy paper was never ending. It was infinite. You know, we couldn't do anything about it. I'm just sitting here like, what is going on? What has become of us? You know, no, what is this ancient freaking being that's living among us? That seems pretty sus, you know. So I'm sorry, I had to make that joke. But anyways, yeah, like, it was, again, things were just getting all kinds of wild, all kinds of weird, and all he wanted to do was just go home. He wanted to wake up from the whole thing. But then so what ends up happening is that like, we start to get desperate, you know. We start throwing things at Austin, you know, trying to throw things even into the black hole. We threw pizza, we threw the pizza boxes, you know, we threw Parmesan, we even threw beer at Larry and the freaking dog and the dog's black hole, and like, literally nothing was working, nothing was affecting it. But then what happened was that what should we call it? So, like, I just had this random idea, you know. It kind of spawned from the dog randomly saying, "Please do not touch me while I feed. I need to feed. Do not disturb me." You know, so I'm like, you know what? I got a stupid, simple idea. So stupid, so simple, it just has to work. And if it doesn't work, I don't know what I'm gonna do. You know, it doesn't make it any better that some of the other customers in SPANKY'S, well, first of all, they were all being spanked. Like literally, they were all just sitting there completely still, as if somebody just pressed the pause button on a movie scene. You know, while all the SPANKY'S workers were just spanking them. You like spanking them all around the body with all these kinds of freaking what you call it, cookingware and all that. It was just a weird sight to see. And a lot of them took off their shirts, took off their freaking to pull down their pants just to spank them. You know, again, they're just all you heard was paper flying around and spatula, spoons, and paddles whipping human skin. It was weird, man, but nobody was crying about it. Nobody was being even any kind of moved from it. Like, it was just some of the weirdest stuff I have ever seen, you know. So it was, again, like, I was like, you know what, I'm like, again, this is a stupid simple situation that, like, if this doesn't work, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And I'm also seeing a lot of people who are getting spanked. They're not just being spanked to get spanked. No, they're getting spanked because every time they got spanked, like little by little, they will start turning into paper. And no, not only that, no, they'll go into like stages. So first of all, they'll kind of start off as what you call it? They'll start looking like crumbled paper, and then they'll start looking like origami, and then at the final stage, they'll start looking like freaking like little tiny bits of paper, like whatever you know when you put a piece of paper inside the shredder and it goes bzzz, and then you look at the trash that you got, and they got those little strips. It's kind of like that, but imagine instead of just strips, it also did it sideways too. So you got all these tiny little pieces everywhere, like confetti. Everybody was looking like just a bunch of white confetti everywhere. And man, let me tell you, like, so they all started looking like they were from freaking Infinity War and Endgame. They all started dusting away, all going into the freaking Austin's black hole. You know, it was just some of the, you know, the most disturbing, weirdest, and also quite morbid thing I have ever seen. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna pet this dog. I'm even gonna pet it all the way to the tip of its tail. I don't know what to do at this point, so I'm just gonna at least enjoy the fur of this dog one last time before I see my papery fate. You know what happens? I simply touch this dog, and this dog starts pissing. He starts pissing, and he starts pooping, and all of a sudden the chaos stops. Freaking everybody was anybody that was already like through mid transformation, they revert back to normal. But everybody that went to the black hole, they're gone. They gone. You know. But again, nobody addresses it. Everybody just acts calm about it, like as if nothing happened. And everybody with their shirts off or their pants pulled down, being spanked. Nobody addresses it. Everybody just slowly reverts back to what was going on. I'm like, what is going on here? You know, and I'm the only person speaking here, or I'm the only person speaking out loud, and I'm like, didn't any of y'all see what was going on? And they're like, shut up, I'm trying to eat pizza. And I'm like, man, screw you two. You know, and a lot of the people who were drinking at the bar, you know, at the bar portion of the restaurant, they were like, man, oh man, I am never drinking this stuff again. Wow, that was one hell of a trip. And I was like, wait, what? But anyways, yeah, it was just like really weird, you know. So when we walked out, thankfully nobody at our table freaking turned into papery ash, or nobody was spanked to death, you know. And everybody, we all got to enjoy our food. Very spanked pizza, like I'm telling you. Normally that pizza is greasy as hell, but they spanked the grease off of it, and they also kind of offered them for us to take the grease home so we can use it for cooking or something like that. But I'm like, nah, man, I'm good. But anyways, yeah. So freaking Larry starts holding the dog again. He starts petting him real slowly. His eyes are still glowing. I'm like, Larry, is the dog still controlling you? And he's like, I don't even know anymore. I drank 3 beers. You know, so I'm like, okay, you know, okay, we're done with you. But anyways, yeah, so yeah, we all go back to Leslie's house, and it's as everybody acts as if nothing happened. It's just driving me nuts, and I'm like, from this day on, I will never enter another SPANKY'S ever again. And then I'll proceed to go to SPANKY'S again, freaking like a couple months later with my boy Mr. Nobody, because, you know, we just wanted pizza. But anyways, yeah, like freaking that's just about it, man. Like, again, it was just a weirdo dog, a weirdo place, a weirdo situation, man. Like, it just all compiled together into something really odd, really odd to say the least. But yeah, like, I mean, I'm definitely not making this stuff up. Like there is no way you can prove me wrong or prove me right. You know, you can try, unless you actually know this dog Austin. You know, again, maybe I'm lying, maybe I'm just making all this stuff up, and I'm just trying to make a podcast. You know, or maybe all this stuff actually happened. You don't know. I don't even know. But anyways, yeah, so but in all seriousness, man, that's my little story. Yeah, that's my little story for that. Oh yeah, fun fact, for the next like 2 years we went to SPANKY'S for Leslie's next couple of birthday parties, and again, nothing weird happened, no more weird stuff. But then again, it's also because, well, first of all, Uncle Larry moved out of his house since then, but second of all, freaking the dog, yeah, the Austin dog has never tried to pull any weird shenanigans. It's probably because of that turtle, let me tell you. And the cat's pretty sussy too, let me tell you that too. Freaking the cat and the turtle, along with Jezebel, I'm telling you, man, they do some schemes together, you know. And again, it's kind of weird, you know. Freaking the cat just kind of sneaks around, you know, looking for anything to kind of destroy, you know. I mean, she doesn't actually destroy anything, but she will scratch up furniture and stuff to kind of, you know, sharpen her claws. You know, and this cat, you know, she goes around people's bedrooms, or specifically Leslie's bedroom, purposely knocks down all the thumbtacks off his walls that are holding his posters, and she tries to eat them. And I'm like, oh god, first we got Austin with paper, now we got you with thumbtacks. No, give it here, you know. And she tries to find me on it, but then all I gotta do is pick her up with one arm, you know, like if I was Mega Man, you know. And she's like, and she doesn't even try to fight it, you know. I guess she just likes being held up. But anyways, yeah, and then you got that turtle. Again, slow but deadly. You never know what that turtle's thinking about. You know, your chances of being killed by an ordinary house turtle are slim, but never 0. But anyways, yeah, Jezebel doesn't actually act all that weird. Maybe it's because of all that trauma with Uncle Larry. But anyways, you know, aside from that, Jezebel is getting really fat though, because she's eating a lot of human food. She's eating more McDonald's than she is pedigree. You know, that's kind of a no-no. But anyways, aside from that, and Austin just sits in the corner in his bed, like, most of the time asleep. But then whenever he wakes up, his eyes are glowing. He's like, "Peasants, feed me the paper. I desire the paper." And then we all say no, and the dog's like, "Damn." But yeah, that's just about it. Aside from all that, yeah, no other weird experiences happened. But again, nobody supposedly remembers this except for my small group of friends. So you try asking them, they'll tell you the exact same story that I said, except they'll tell, like, here's the thing: we all experience the same situation, except with me, when you ask me what happened, I'm gonna remove all the facts to make the story more interesting. So that's what you're getting here right now on 3 AM Thoughts. But anyways, okay, so that's literally all I have. That's literally all I've got now. So I say this is a pretty interesting podcast. Anyways, yeah, if you want to go to SPANKY'S, they got some pretty good pizza. You should go down and try it sometime. See if there's one in your area. But anyways, yeah, just hope you don't get turned into paper. But anyways, yeah. So if you made it this far, thank you for listening to the podcast. If you're listening on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe and click that little bell to get more notifications every time I send a new podcast. If you're listening to us on Spotify, don't forget to follow. Don't forget to to like every single one that you like, and listen to on your phone or whatever. Freaking yeah. So share with your friends, share with your dogs, share with your enemies, share with the victims of the great paper day at SPANKY'S. No, share it with everybody, man. Just go out. I forgot where I was going with that. But anyways, yeah. So thank you for listening. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being such a good fellow. Anyways, this is your boy Asiago on 3 AM Thoughts. Signing off. Have you a good one.